Yeah, blessings on blessings, yeah. Blessings on blessings.
Yes,
yeah.
Mishpachah. As you can see in the title, we have Yahuwah versus Ahahyah. When I came into the truth, right? When I came into the truth, um, first things that we started to learn about, everybody was saying, Christ or Christ, and still going through with the Lord's. But when I came and I woke up and I started walking and I started studying the Hebrew, and somebody really came out and showed me that it was like, they said it was Yahweh, and then I studied and then it was Yahuwah. Then I was like, okay, I got a firm grasp. And I'm like, okay, I'm talking to other people, and I'm talking to other brews, and I'm getting to know this thing. I'm starting to be like, okay, this is this and this is that. And then I ran into this situation. I ran into a bunch of other brews that said that the name of our father wasn't Yahuwah. They didn't even say Yahweh. They said it was Ahahyah. And I studied, and I was trying to find what link, like what is this thing? Like, where did they get it from? Because as you would see, it's like all I saw was Yahuwah. I watched some videos and try to get some insight because of this matter. And I even did an even deeper dive to try to rule it out completely. And through my studies, Abba just started doing what he do, dropping gems and revealing more to me. And today, I'm going to share with you what he has shared with me. And maybe we can dead this question of whether or not his name is Yahuwah or his name is Ahahyah. But before we can get into what his name is, let's see if we can get a better understanding of what he is, right? And we're going to start off with the spirit, right? Because in Genesis chapter 1, 1 through 2, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the spirit of Elohim, which we read as God, moved upon the face of the waters, right? So I guess if people want to believe in the law of first mention, it says the spirit of the Father, right? The spirit of his Father moved upon the face of the waters, right? So what is what is the spirit of the Father? What is the word for spirit? In Hebrew, in the Strongs, we're looking at ruach, all right? Ruach, as you'll see here, and we'll see the understanding of ruach is wind, all right? Wind. Continuing. Now, the root word, right? The root word for ruach in the ancient Hebrew lexicon, it says the action is to travel, the concrete meaning path, and it says the pictograph of the resh is a pictograph of the head of a man. The hay is a picture of a wall that separates the inside from the outside. Combined, these mean man outside. The responsibilities of the nomad outside of the tent include the feeding, watering, and caring of the livestock. The livestock are healthier and more productive when a routine, therefore, the man follows a routine or a prescribed path. Okay. Now, us studying, and we have a understanding, and we're understanding how we are walking in this truth, and we're following Yah, right? So we understand that we are on a prescribed path. So this routine is set each day when caring for the livestock. So us as shepherds, and we're supposed to feed the sheep, be fishers of men, we don't lead them in a manner in which that we want them to go. It is a prescribed path for the shepherd to follow, and that is the prescribed path that he leads the flock. All right. So as we see, so this is the Hebraic understanding right here of the parent word, right? Now, for our actual word here, it says it is ruach, and we have the valve here as a vowel here for the u sound, right? So ruach, right? So we have the action, which is to refresh. The concrete meaning is wind. And it says the Hebrew nomads were very familiar with the wind patterns, as they would follow a prescribed path, as I mentioned earlier, indicating the coming season. From the word comes the idea of breath, as it is the wind of a man, which also follows a prescribed path, inhaling and exhaling, right? So the prescribed path also is a prescribed path of your actual breath, right? So it has a prescribed path of, it's a prescribed narrow path of when you inhale, and it's prescribed narrow path of when you exhale, all right? So the spirit, wind, now in the wind, this breathing is what keeps us alive, all right? So as it was mentioned earlier, the verb or action is refresh, to be given a fresh wind, smell, touch, and that we see here, it is understanding. Understanding. See, the ruach, the spirit, has understanding, or we will catch it later. We read about the Ruach HaKodesh, right? So now the noun, in the sense that we're using this word as right now, the noun is wind. And this is also of a man or deity or God, the breath, and it's a Hebraic or Aramaic understanding of spirit, wind, breath, all right? So now we're understanding that the understanding from a Hebraic and Aramaic understanding, that the spirit is of wind, breath, a prescribed path, all right? The existence, right? So the breath, so we're here with breath, wind, spirit. They all go together, all right? So now that we understand that the Father is spirit, right? And so now let's move a little bit further. So now let's use an example of the spirit, right? Doing these things that we've read about in Hebrew, right? So it says, then the Spirit said to Philip, go near and join thyself to this chariot. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Elijah, and said, understandest thou what thou readest? So as we can see, the prescribed path here, right? The prescribed path of the function of the spirit, the prescribed path that we saw in the Hebraic understanding, we see it as a functional action here, being the spirit leading Philip. Philip, who is on the path, right, is being a shepherd to help the brother that is the sheep in this matter, right? So this person needs help. He needs guidance. He says even later, how can someone understand if someone doesn't teach or lead, right? So spirit, all right? So moving on, we also see here in Matthew 12:32, it says, and whosoever speaketh a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Ruach HaKodesh, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come. Now, right here, the Ruach HaKodesh is the Kodesh spirit, right? The Kodesh spirit. Well, so we would say the Holy Spirit, right? And this is the spirit that comes from Yah, right? Most holy, right? He said that he is the one that sanctifies you, which is he says, I am holy, so you shall be holy. But he also says that I am the one that sanctifies you or make you holy because he is, right? So now we're seeing the connection of our first understanding or our first word being spirit. Now, the Greek word for that verse in Matthew is sunuma. All right. And now what is that understanding? Just so that we can compare them all and see if there's any differences. Same thing, a current of air, breath, and two, we see here it's spirit. So there is no changing of understanding between the Greek understanding and the Hebrew understanding in this situation, all right? So moving on. So now that we have a better understanding of what Abba is when it comes in essence, well, now let's get to the next step of talking about the name, because it's all about the name. Yahuwah, which is his name, right? Okay. So we see here in Exodus 3:13, and Moshe said unto Elohim, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the Elohim of your fathers have sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? So Moshe is asking Abba, like, hey, when I go to your people, what should I say to them? If they was to ask me, what is your name? Okay. So let's take a look of what name means in Hebrew. So most of us already know, but for those who are new, the Hebrew word for name is Shem, right? Which is also one of the names of the three brothers that was blessed at our progenitors, one of our major patriarchs. One of our major patriarchs. All right. So one of the brothers of Noah is what I meant to say. So we got Japheth, Ham, Shem. All right. So the Strong's breakdown of Shem is a mark or a memorial. I highlighted these because you're going to see it again, and you're going to see how this all comes together. All right. So it says a mark or a memorial of individuality into the honor, the authority, and the character. So when Abba be like, put respect on my name, or you'll read in the Psalms, or you'll see in the scripts, and it says, we shall give honor and praise unto thy name. You see, when we're talking about Yahweh, we're talking about his everything, his character, who he is, right? So just to soak this all in. So now let's get into the ancient Hebrew lexicon's understanding of this. And it says the action is breath, you see. So we're back to breath again. The concrete meaning of the action is to breathe. I apologize. And the concrete meaning is breath. And it says the wind or breath of someone or something is its character. So that means that the name of someone, the Shem, the breath, or as we will get there, is a person's character. So continuing says, now for the noun, it says the breath or the breath of a man is its character. It's the character of the man. What makes one what he is. The name of an individual is more than an identifier, but descriptive of his character, his breath, which is, so it's a descriptive of, so his name is associated with his breath, which is associated with his spirit. You see how we're bringing it together, right? So yeah, so let's get to the next portion of this. Now, right, so now we understand now that the spirit of Yah, what he is spirit, he is, when he is the breath. Now we understand that also his name is associated with the breath, and his name, the breath or his spirit is where the character lies. Well, now let's it's as I was studying this, you know, we said that the word for heaven, what's the Hebrew word for heaven? Put it in Genesis 1:8, it says, and Elohim called the firmament heaven, and the heaven, and in the evening and the morning were the second day. The Hebrew word for heaven is shamayim, right? Now, previously, we saw that, and I should have pointed this out. I'm gonna go back a couple slides. So we see that Shem was the Sheen and a Mem, okay? Sheen and Mem. Sheen and Mem. Now, we're going to jump back to Shamayim, and we see what? Sheen, Mem, right? And the feminine singular, as we see here, singular form of this is Sheen, Mem, Hey. And the Hey at the end of this is to signify that this is, not in all cases in Hebrew, but this is where you will read about the spirit or the word being a feminine word. But Shamayim represents the sky, the heavens, the firmament where Ahahyah resides, okay? So now we have Shem, Shamayim, and we know that these are attached to character, spirit, and breath, right? So the Shamayim is, so it's Shem, plural. It's the spirit, but magnified, right? All right. So let's keep that in mind. Now, continuing. Oh, yeah, there we go. So in the ancient Hebrew lexicon, for Shamayim, well, guess what it is? The root word for Shamayim is, as I mentioned, it's the same as Shem. All right. Action, breath, breathe, you see? But the aim on the end is the difference. Let's see what the difference is. All right. So now we've been talking about breath connected with spirit, connected with name, and connected with character. But is breath really associated, or can we see an example of that, right? Well, we do very early on in my favorite place in Genesis. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, it says, and Yah, our Elohim, formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. It said, now, I just want to point this out. Y'all see this capital L-O-R-D, right? It said that says Yah, right? Put it in the chat. That says Yah, right? Put a Y for yes and an N for no. We know that that's Yah right there, right? That when we see that, we know for some reason that's that's attached to Yahuwah, right? Just, we see this in Genesis 2. So, when this is being formulated or compiled, we see the names that's associated with that, It's just, So moving forward, so it says, Ahahyah formed man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. So in order for man to become a living being, he needed to have that breath, right? So continuing, so let's take a look at what breath is, right? What do you know? Breath is neshama. But if you was to take the noon out, what do you see there? Shema, wind. It's the same singular word for what? It's the same, who's paying attention? It's the same singular word for what that we just went over. You can say it in English, I'm fine. What is it? That's right. That's right. You see, they're all this, there's no difference. They're all coming together. They're all linked. They're all compiled. It's the same understanding. There is no confusion here. You see, and the understanding is still the wind. It says and it says an angry or vital breath, but it's also linked to intellect, right? So this breath that was given to us by Ahahyah, you know, is linked to our intelligence, right? So we know that if we study the word, the Ruach HaKodesh, you know, or we walk and follow in the path of Yah, it will be our wisdom, right? It will be, you know, other nations will look at us and say, man, what wise and great nation that has such an Elohim so near to them. You see, they will be enamored with us. That's why they say, you know, who's two greats? Who's the two great father and son combos that y'all can think of that were both known as wise? One was wise and one had a double portion of his wisdom. Put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. Who was that father son combo that are legendary amongst our people, if y'all know? That's right. David, King David and King Solomon, all right? So we see that intelligence, that wisdom is linked to this wind, right? So we see here that, you know, the flesh is no good. We are led by the Ruach, the breath inside of us is life. But it's something else that he also said, right? Let's take a look at Jeremiah 1:4-5. It says, then the word of Yah came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Well, how can somebody know you before you was even placed in the womb? We know that all spirits, all come from Yah. He is the source. He is the source of the spirit. He is the source of the wind. We're gonna get to that a little bit further, right? So let's keep it going. Let's do, I guess I missed one. I guess I didn't. So now that we understand that it's like a car, right? It's a car. So we have our flesh, and then we have our ruach, which is our character, our personality, and it's just like a person being inside of a car. You drive the car. What is inside, what you want to do is going to make the car move how you want to steer it and move it. You want to go fast, you want to go slow, you want to turn here, you want to turn there. It's the person inside that controls the car. It's the same thing with your flesh and your ruach and your spirit. It's your spirit that drives the flesh, right? You see? That's why Yahushua got to be here to help us with our conscience. You see, if we get our ruach straight, we start moving according to good works. You know, we get the right spirit to guide us. Then, and we keep Yahuwah on our mind, the right spirit on our head and in our hands. we're gonna have the right spirit inside of us to drive our flesh to be proper, right? So I wanted to do this recap here, right? So with breath, I wanted to lay out a couple of things. We see that we have Shema, right? Neshama for wind or for breath. And then we have Shamayim, and then for sky or for heaven, right? Now, the point that I wanted to point out is why we have Shamayim and then we have Elohim. These two are in the same sense. Yes, it's a magnification of the understanding of, it's not just because the singular of Elohim is El, right? And we see here it's used in another sense of LOY, which is usually used for like my Elohim, you see. Yeah, my Elohim, or just it's the singular plural sense. It's so complicated. It's a singular plural sense of Yahuwah, because we're not going to call Yahuwah El. El is lowercase God. We got to keep him magnified, right? So we got to give him his honor. We got to give him his praise that he deserves, all right? So the point that I wanted to make here is comparing Elohim and Shamayim. It's the same sense with this Shamayim. You see, it's not just, oh, a lot of wind. No, it is the magnification of the wind. It is something mightier. It is this wind, this place, this combination is greater than some of the winds that's down on the earth. You see, this wind that we're dealing with here is the kingdom of Yahuwah. All right. Think about that. It's the kingdom of Yahuwah, right? Oh yeah, so I threw Shem in there too. So we have Shem, Neshama, Shamayim, and Elohim, right? Mark, memorial, honor, authority, and character. So let's take a look at Matthew 6, 9 through 10. It says, after this manner, therefore pray ye, our Father, which is in the Shamayim, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth or on earth as it is in the Shamayim. So that means that if you can compare the two, it's things that's supposed to be done on earth as it is done in the Shamayim. But what is that being said? That means that there's a place that's better than this place. There's a guide for this place. The pattern, it says that the pattern of which is a pattern of the Shamayim, right? So just think of the Shamayim, and then you have the earth, right? We see that the earth and the Shamayim is combined. The way things are handled or controlled is controlled by the Shamayim, by Yahuwah in the Shamayim. The angels, those angels that's handling the wind, that's handling the flow of the water, that's watching you. They check in the Shamayim. We just deal with it on earth. So if you can think of it as the sense of it's the Shamayim that's driving or have maximum control over the earth. You can almost say, if you really think about it, that the Shamayim is the Ruach of the earth. Just like the breath that Ahahyah gave us is our Ruach, is our spirit that drives us. You see? All right. So that's a little tidbit. Think about it, ponder on it. But let's keep going. So now, I am. All right. What does I am got to do with all this? Is I am linked with all of this? Well, let's see. Exodus 3:14. It says, and Elohim said to Moshe, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, have sent me unto you. Now, this statement right here is the main statement or instruction that leads to the massive amount of confusion when it comes to Yahuwah's name. This is where it all comes from. This is where it all stems. I've done so much research to try to find out. But this is the only verse. This is the only verse that everybody and a lot of people get their information from. It says, and Elohim said to Moshe, right? So a lot of people would say that, well, thus shalt thou say unto the children, saying to Moshe, well, to say that I am has sent you. So people would just say, well, that's what he said to tell them, right? That's what he said. He said to say that I am sent you. Well, let's see what the Hebraic word for I am is. What does I am mean? So I am Hayah. Hayah. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. I know that was corny, but I had to do it. And it means to exist, right? So Hayah means to exist, Ahahyah, right? So that's the Strong's. Now you see that this is a verb, all right? So let's get a little bit further into it now. The parent root, where this word comes from, the parent idea, guess what it's linked to? Would you believe it? Ahayah is linked to ha or ha. Ha. Keep together, Ty. Let's go. Ak, the action, breath, concrete meaning. I mean, the action is to breathe. The concrete meaning is breath. The abstract, to exist. And it says the picture graph of the hay represents one who is looking at a great sight, which his hands raised and taking a long breath. The picture graph represents one who is looking at a great sight with his with his hands raised and taking a long breath, right? So it's two situations of behold, right? That's what the hay represents, you know. Well, that's what it means to behold. So one who is looking at a great sight with his hands raised and taking a long breath. That reminds me of somebody. Do y'all know of somebody that there's somebody that had his hands raised for a long period. He had his hands raised to perform great works and great things. He had his hands raised for so long that he needed help. He needed help to have his hands raised. Can y'all already ahead of the game? Y'all already know what I was gonna ask. Y'all are some real scholars for real. Y'all are some real scholars for real. I don't even know why I even messing with y'all like that. But as you can see, behold, having his hands raised, taking a long breath. It's like you're beholding something like so magnificent, so magnificent, or receiving something. Think about Moshe being in the presence of Yah, like, and Yah told King David that he's like, man, you can't build nothing that can hold me. Now we know that Ahahyah is spirit, it's the ruach, it's the wind, it's the breath. Now imagine Moshe going up the mount and just being in the presence. He walking up with his hands raised, like just trying to behold this thing that he can't hold. I think that's a great understanding of this Hebrew word here. Taking a long breath, or maybe he's receiving, whew, taking it in. Oh man, it's amazing. Continuing the word, our word, right? Our main word here, Ahayah, the action is to exist or existence. So it's like, staying alive, ha ha ha, two hays, ha ha, staying, whatever. All right. So the concrete meaning is breath. All right. The verb exists, to exist or have breath, right? So Ahahyah is still linked to Shem, Shamayim, Shema, you see, and Neshama. There is no difference, right? So it's saying the verb is to exist or the to have breath. This is that which exists have breath. And it says here in Hebrew thought, the breath is the character of someone or something. So there's no difference. The difference here is it says breath. So imagine Abba going into him and saying like, I am, like, I like, you can't really explain that to someone like I am the source. Abba is saying that I am the source of breath. It's not even just that I'm just spirit, I'm just wind. No, I am breath. I am the life portion of this. I am the creator of existence. Can you y'all get what I'm saying? Like, that's what he's saying is like existence would not be a thing because I am existence. I am. So whether you understand or not doesn't matter. I am. Like you wouldn't be, or there is no you are if it wasn't for I am. Right? So when I look at this is what I'm getting. There's no difference, but it's all linked to breath. And it does make sense for Abba to tell him, like, look, I am like the breath, the source, the creator of heaven and earth, the creator of all things is what I am. It is, I am has sent me. The breath has sent me. The king has sent me. The embodiment of life. I could do this all day long, has sent me, right? So when I look back, so we look back at the verse and it says, and Yah and Elohim said unto Moshe, existence. I am existence. I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, the breath, existence sent me. Life sent me. All right. If you're feeling me on that, give me a 7. Give me a 7 in the chat if y'all feeling that. Right. So as I was looking into this, and I was something as we're doing all this breathing, we're talking about the wind, we're talking about the spirit, we're talking about all these things, and something came to mind. Isaiah 4:6 came to mind. It says, thus saith Yahuwah. Y'all see Yahuwah there? Okay. The King of Israel and his Redeemer, Yahuwah of hosts, Yahuwah Zebaoth, right? I am the first, I am the last, and beside me there is no Elohim. There are none. But he says that I am. So we saying I am, right? But if we take I am and we insert what? We exert breath. So I am the first. I'm the first breath. I am the last breath. I am the first to exist. I am the last to exist. So when we're thinking about this, and I could have added more verses, but as we're looking at this, you know, we could do Isaiah 48:12. Hearken unto me, O Yacob and Israel, my called, I am he. I am. But that's not Ahahyah. He says, I am the first, I also am the last. Revelations 1-8 says, I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end, saith YAHUAH, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty. So, which is to come, the Almighty. Now, we was talking about Shem, right? And we was talking about, when we talked about Shem, when we talked about the spirit, it says that what? It says that the shepherd would follow, he understands the wind patterns, right? And he follows a prescribed path. He says that when he inhales, the wind, when you inhale, your breath goes down a prescribed path. It goes in and it comes back out. You see, Abba is the controller of existence. He is the controller of breath, because he knows, because at any given time, he can take it from you. Now, when you really think about it, it hits harder than what you really think. That breath that he gives us and continues to give us consistently, that breathing is a memorial of the remembrance of Yah. I just want you to just let that sit in, right? But if this word here for I am is not Ahayah, so what is it? Well, it's just I. But no, seriously, it says Genesis 26:24, it says, and Yah appeared unto him the same night and said, I am the Elohim of Abraham, thy father, fear not, for I am with thee. I will bless thee and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. What it says, I am. But that's not Ahahyah. Has anybody looked at what the Hebrew word for I is? I did. Keith don't know how to do that. So I in the Strongs is Anuki, right? Anuki. And the ancient Hebrew lexicon says the action is to sigh, right? A sigh of rest, right? The sigh of rest. And the action behind this, and this is pretty interesting, it says to sigh or to groan out of desire for rest or to moan. So, but if you look at the noun here, it says I in the sense of sighing or breathing. So now this is Aramaic only. This is the plural form of this word meaning we, right? But we have I, me, and we. And it says I still is connected with breathing or breath. So everything, even when he says I, it's every single thing points. If people don't understand who Yah is or understand Yah, they ain't knocking on enough doors for things to be answered for them. They're not seeking, so they ain't finding. It's not even, if we can see in this breakdown, it says a sigh of rest. Abba is the one that leads us to rest, that prescribed path, that shepherd that leads the sheep through safe pasture. They get their water, they get to graze, and they get to rest in safety. I hope y'all see how all of this, Abba is amazing. All this is coming together. Even the understanding of I, it points back to purpose of Yah, right? So let's continue. Let's continue. All right. Hear and obey. Hear and obey. I had to do this one. I had to do this one for this singular reason, right? I had to, because Abba just had me going. He had me going. He had me going, right? Because I'm just trying to get us to get an understanding. I just want us to understand. Deuteronomy, right? Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim is one Yahuwah. Hear, O Yisrael. Now we know that hear means to hear and obey, right? And I just had to. I had to look into the word and see what it meant. And that is Shema, or Shemai, right? With the iron on the end though, right? And it says to hear, the Strong says to hear intelligently, often with the implication, attention, and obedience, all right? And getting into the ancient Hebrew lexicon, the action is to hear, report, obedience, a careful hearing of someone or something, as well as responding appropriately in obedience or action, right? And it says, listening with the breath, all right? So let's get a little bit further. Let's get a little bit further. There's the correction. Now let's get a little bit further into it, right? Our actual word, that was just a parent root. Our actual word here, to hear as well as to respond to what is heard. Aramaic and Hebrew breakdown is hear, obey, understand, be obedient, right? Understanding. So, but why do I bring this up, right? Why do I bring this up? Psalms 143 says, teach me to do thy will. Teach me to do thy will, for thou art my Elohim. Thy spirit is good. Lead me into the land uprightly. So what I'm saying is that shin and that mem is still leaked. The idea is to still listen to the ruach. The ruach, the breath, the spirit, if we hear it or we follow it and obey it, it leads us into the land of uprightness. John 16:13 says, howbeit when he, the spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth, for he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. It's the same spirit that Philip was listening to, right? Isaiah 42:5, thus saith Elohim, Yahuwah, he have created the Shamin, the heavens, and stretched them out. And he that spread forth the earth and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. So if we hear and obey, we are in tune with Yah. You see? We are in tune with this Ruach, we're in tune with the Spirit by obedience. All right? By hearing, by receiving, you see? So now, let's talk about Yahuwah. How does Yahuwah play in all this, right? So now this we're getting in, let's get into it, right? Let's bring it all together, right? So the main debacle is with that one verse. But let's look at it from Exodus 3:13. How does Yah plays in this thing? How does Yah compare with Ahahyah here, right? And it says in Exodus 3:13, Moshe said unto Elohim, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the Elohim of your fathers has sent me unto you, and thou shalt say unto me, what is his name? What shall I say? Right? We're back here again. Now let's continue. 14. Ahahyah said unto Moshe, look, I am what I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, breath, existence, have sent me unto you, the existing one. The one that didn't even need to create anything. He's going to exist whether we praise or, give honor to his name or not. Now, 3:15, right? 3:15 continues as it says, and Elohim said, moreover unto Moshe, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yah, Yahuwah, our Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of the Abraham, the Elohim of Issac, and the Elohim of Yacob has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations, right? If you remember that I pointed out memorial, what was memorial linked with? He said, this is my memorial. So memorial means to remember. Put in the chat, what is memorial linked with? If you remember the first, there we go. It's linked with his name. It says, so I'm gonna read it again. It says, and Elohim said, and moreover unto Moshe, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahuwah, thy Elohim, your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Issac, and the Elohim of Yacob have sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations. This is my character. This is me. This is my name. This is my Ruach. This is my Ruach, my spirit, unto all generations, right? So, but what is that that capital Lord? Well, in somebody's translation, they will put Jehovah. And I'll lay this out for you, right? When I read this through my investigation and through my studying, I pronounce it as Yahuwah. Everything stems around this vav. Everything stems around this vav. That vav, when I say vav, I mean the V. You see, y'all can't. Oh, can y'all see my mouse? I hope y'all can y'all see my mouse? Probably y'all can't see my mouse. But everything stems around that V sound, right? But there are those that would say it as though it's a V, and there are those that would say it as though it's a U sound, right? So this is where we get Yahuwah, right? So, and this is just another follow-up. So Yahuwah again, or Yehovah. So even if a person, to me, at first I would be like, just try to argue. People would be like, Yahuwah. If someone say Yahweh, I'd be like, nah. Now I just be like, look, if you say with these Hebrew characters, if you put these Hebrew characters and say that his name is this, look, that's fine with me. If you say Yahuwah, that's fine. If you say Yahweh, that's fine. You know, like if Abba's going to teach us how to properly say it perfectly. I just know in Hebrew, when I see this, whether it's in the modern form, when I see it, or when I see it in Ima Olivia's favorite form, you know, that good old ancient or paleo, you know what I'm saying? She don't like that modern like that, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'll still rocking with that. I ain't arguing with this, all right? At least people, you know, people going to get to where they get to, you know? So, but the translation of that Lord is Yahuwah, all right? Or Yahweh for others, right? Continuing, right? Continuing. So what is his name? So what is his name? What is his name? Is it Yahuwah or is it Ahahyah? You see, I've taken y'all on this long journey, on this long trek, right? On this long trek so that we can get I wanted you to see how Ahayah is not far off, but I wanted you to see, I wanted you to understand who this great spirit is. It's the source of existence. It's the source of our life. Our Ruach is linked to his, that we wouldn't have one if it wasn't for him. We know where he resides. We know what he is. We know where the power comes from. We know that even obedience to hear and obey, to shamar, is linked to following his Ruach, his spirit. It will be good for our Ruach and our spirit if we just obeyed him, right? But is it Yahuwah or is it Ahahyah? Let's see. I would, at first I was saying but Ahahyah, look, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know which one it is, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know, but I have a good idea of how I can help you figure it out, right? Maybe, so what is his name, right? So it says, so let's do a comparison, right? It says, well, let's compare the frequency of the usage of the name, right? Because I don't want to put all this pressure on me. I can't take all this. I don't want people like, well, you said it's this and you said it's that. I'm going to let the scripts. That's what we do, right? We go to the scripts, right? Let's see how frequent, let's see how frequent the usage of the name is, right? Ahayah has only been used as a name or a title for frequency only one time. The word has been used 76 times for other meanings because it's a verb. It has only been used as a name one time in one verse. One time, right? One time. Well, let's compare that, right? Let's compare that to Yahuwah, right? How many times have Yahuwah been used as a name? Yahuwah has a frequency in the Bible as a name, as a proper name. It is used 6,518 times. So we have one time versus 6,518 times. But what is his name? What is his name? You know, I know the Psalm says, Psalm 68:4 says, sing unto Yah Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name. They put a J in there, but we know that that's Yah. This doesn't say Ahahyah. It says, and rejoice before him. They didn't sing praises to Ahahyah here. They sung praises to Yah. But is that enough? Is that enough? But what is his name? What is his name? You know what? It's not my name. You know, what does Abba say his name is? I'm gonna take all the pressure. I'm gonna let Abba say what his name is. What does Abba say his name is, right? It says, wherefore, let's go Exodus 6:6. Wherefore say unto the children of Israel, I am Yahuwah. So he's telling people, because we know that Lord, he didn't say that I am Ahayah. He says, I am Yahuwah. And I will bring you out from under the burden of the Egyptians. I will ride you out of their bondage. I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with a great judgment. So he's telling them, like, look, I'm gonna let these people know who I am. I am Yahuwah, and this is Yahuwah that led you out with a stretched out arm. He continues and said in 6:7-8, he says, and I will take you to me for a people, and I will be your Elohim, and you shall know that I'm Yahuwah. This is my memorial. This is my name, my character forever, for generation upon generation. I am Yahuwah, which bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. I will bring you into a land concerning the which I did swear to give it to Abraham, Issac, and Yacob. I will give it to you for an inheritance. Why? Because I am Yahuwah. He's telling you who he is and the type of person that he is. So when he does this, who you gonna give praises to? Who you gonna give praises to? So, because he's letting you know, like, man, look, Yahuwah is doing this, right? So let's continue. Let's do Exodus 8:22. It says, I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarm of them flies, the mosquitoes, those insects shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am Ahahyah. That says Ahahyah, right? That must say nope. Nope. That's Yahuwah. That's Yahuwah right there again. So when our people, who you think that our people was giving praise to, our ancestors were giving praise to in Goshen when them flies wasn't messing with them? Who you think they was giving praise to? Put in the chat who they was giving praise to. Put in the chat who they was. He says that Moses went and spoke this to them. He said, let them know that this is Yahuwah that's doing. So when they see this happen, they're like, oh, Yahuwah did this. He says, I am Yahuwah in the midst of the earth. He says, I am here. I am here. Continuing says that in Exodus 12:12, it says, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night. I will smite all the firstborns in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, against all the deities of Egypt. I will execute my judgment, because why? I'm flexing on them. They need to know that it was Yahuwah that did this. It was Yahuwah. Yahuwah did this. So when everybody's crying about, and they like, oh man, who did this? Who took the firstborns? Who had the power and the might to do this? They're gonna remember one name. They're gonna remember one name. It was no Ahahyah here. The name that they're gonna remember forever and ever and ever. Yahuwah. It's Yahuwah that's here. Exodus 14:4, it says, and I will harden. He's messing with the Gentiles now. He want them to say his name, right? He says, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, right? That he shall follow after them, and I will be honored. He says, I will be honored. The Shem. We're going back to the Shem again. I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, even all his people. They're gonna know, they're gonna say something. It says, upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know. He wants the Egyptians to know who he is. He wants the Egyptians to know. Did he send? He must have sent a message to let them know that his name was Ahahyah, right? He sent the message and said, hey, let them know that my name is Ahahyah. Nah. That's Yahuwah. That's Yahuwah there again. He says, man, the Egyptians, the Gentiles are going to know what my name is. They're going to give me praise. They are going to give me praise, and they're going to give me praise to the right name. Because they're going to give credit to the right attribute, to the right spirit. They're going to know who it is. They're never going to forget. They're going to give me honor. They're going to give me honor. But in order for them to give me honor, they need to know that it's Yahuwah. They need to know what this name is. It's going to ring in their head, right? And it says, and they did so, right? And they did so. Leviticus 11:44, right? Leviticus 11:44. It says that, for I am, he's telling us now, Leviticus 44, he says, for I am, because that's what he says though, right? He says, I am what I am, but he's saying, I am, right? I am what I am, right? But he's saying, for I am Yahuwah. Yes, it's the one that exists. He is the breath. He is the epitome of existence. This I am is greater than any I am that can ever be. Without this I am, there is no I ams. But he says that I am Yahuwah. He didn't just say I am. He didn't just say I exist. He says, this I am, this existence is Yahuwah. Call me Yahuwah, your Elohim. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be Kodesh, holy. For I am Kodesh, holy. So he's letting you know that I am Yahuwah. I am holy and Kodesh. You are my people. You represent me. You must be holy Kodesh. I'm set apart. I'm dedicated. I ain't like the rest. I'm different. You must be as well. So he's telling you, neither shall you defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creep upon the earth. It's Abba Yahuwah that sanctifies us. He shows us the way of how to sanctify, right? So that we can sanctify him. And we can give him praise. Because, if we want to give him praise, like, what's the word that we use? How do we give him praise? What's that word that we use? Can someone help me out with that? I think I've been just reading too much other stuff. Maybe how do we give him praise? What is that famous word that we use? What is that? What is that? Can we it's hallelujah Ahayah. That's what it is, right? Right? That's what it is. Hallelujah. Right? No. It's hallelujah. And that hallelujah is the shining one. It's Yah that shines. It's not Ahayah that shines. It's Yah that shines. Yahuwah. He's letting you know. He's letting you know his name is Yahuwah. He's letting you know his name is Yahuwah. Yahuwah. That's what his name is. So, in closing, I don't want to discard. As I was studying this, it didn't draw me to try to discard Ahayah. It didn't draw me to discard Ahayah. No, it's to include Ahayah. Ahayah is just another, it's another portion. Ahayah is Yahuwah. It's synonymous. It's synonymous. It's giving people that shock value of like it's another attribute. He's not just it's not just his name. Yahuwah isn't just his name. It's not just his Shem. He's letting them know like I'm him. Like all of this comes from me. I am that from the very beginning. But you are going to go around here and know me as because when you go around and you go to promote his name and to spread his name and to spread his word, they're gonna be said, well, whose word? Who's what God you serve? Whose commandments do we keep? It's Yahuwah. It's Yahuwah. Even Shamayim, it's crazy because I forgot to mention this, but it says it's the place in which he put his name. Right? It's the place in which he put his name. The land in which he put his name is the land of Israel. You see, but in the Shamayim is the place where his name resides. It's where he resides. It's where his character, his spirit, his the whole embodiment of this. So I hope that you all have I hope that you all enjoyed this. I hope that y'all can grow from this, and I hope that you know that this possibly answered some of the questions that you all have. I hope this, I hope this deads this, but I don't want it to be used for contention or for debating. I just want it to be used so we can just get a better understanding of Yah, as is mentioned, as we're supposed to be. The spirit, the Ruach, is linked to understanding. Shem is linked to understanding. So use this as something to help us to go forward, not to cause division. Use this so that we can grow from and get a better relationship with Yah, so that because we have a better understanding of Yah.